What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It's Jackson. You know, when I'm sitting here, that means it's not going to be a normal vlog, given the fact that I'm sitting here during the intro and not just at a portion of the vlog. So it's not a vlog at all today. Power's here and it's Saturday and I wanted to change things up, and instead of doing a vlog, because, I really wasn't doing nothing today, I figured I'd do that first day of junior year of high school story time I've been telling you guys about on the last two. And the reason I want to tell this story is because junior year was probably the most ridiculous, but also the most difficult and the most frustrating year of high school I ever had. So the reason it was difficult is because I started my junior year of high school. I think it was the end of July. It was like the last day of July, early August of 2020. So the whole COVID pandemic was happening, and it was just not a good time to be in school, especially going into my hardest year of high school. So I want to go on ahead and talk about that. Technically, once again, it'll be the first 2 days because my school operated on blue and gold days. If you haven't seen the first two story times, on blue days you'd have 4 classes. On gold days you'd have 4 different classes, and then they swapped back and forth each day. So yeah, now there's a couple things I need to bring up before I get into the story. So before my junior year even started, I found out that I wasn't going to be able to take German anymore because it conflicted with my choir. And I was like, well, I want to stay in choir because I just got into the most difficult choir to get into in the high school, which was the madrigal choir. And instead of taking German 3, I just told my counselor, I was like, you know what? I'm not going to take German right now. I'm going to start a new language. So I decided to take French because I didn't want to take Spanish because everyone takes Spanish. So I decided to take French. So yeah, as a junior, I started in French 1. And that's important because that was one of my first classes. So the first day of junior year was a blue day, obviously. Not obviously. I mean, obviously if you've watched the first 2 episodes. And it was crazy because it was the first time we'd been in school since March of that year when the whole world shut down. And originally it started we were all able to go to school right away if we wanted to. If you didn't want to go, you didn't have to. You could sign up to, sorry, the camera's a little crooked. You could sign up to do virtual, but most people wanted to be back in school. We just had to wear masks and all that shit. So normally on the first day of school, we go to the gym for a ceremony type deal where they introduce the new teachers and all that shit. But since it was 2020, we didn't do that. When we got to school, it was go to your first class. So my first class of junior year just so happened to be French 1 with a bunch of freshmen and sophomores. And being a junior, that wasn't awkward at all, but it's okay. So I was just sitting there chilling, oh my God, I feel just so out of place in this classroom right now. First day of junior year, yeah, it was very weird, to say the least. But I was sitting there, mask on, we're all social distanced and shit, as much as we can be, given the fact it was a full classroom. But I mean, the bus ride that day was smooth because I still rode the bus because I didn't have my driver's license yet. As you guys know, I didn't get my license until I was 22, which was a couple months ago, back in March. Actually, was it March? It was March. Yes, it was March. But you know what? Better late than never. That's besides the point. Where was I? So I was just sitting there chilling in class. We had to fill out this fucking thing talking about how well we learned and what helped us learn. And I'm just like, I don't want to do this right now. Whatever, that class was over and cool. By the end of it, right as the bell was about to ring, I pulled my phone out to see if I had gotten any messages. And the teacher goes, oh yeah, by the way, one more thing. There's no phones in here. And I'm just like, okay. So I just put my phone away, waited for the bell to ring. As soon as I walked out of that class, pulled it back out, looked at what I was looking at, put it back in my pocket, walked to my second class, which was biology 2, I believe. Was it biology or chemistry? Fuck. It was chemistry. That's what it was. I took bio 2 my sophomore year. So yeah, it was chemistry was my first class, or my second class. That class, it was a science class. It was fucking stupid. It was one of those deals, once again, social distance. Like, usually in those science classes, they had the big-ass tables that 2 people would usually sit at, but since it was social distance, each person got their own table, and then a lot of people got to sit at lab tables. So I got my own big table. That was pretty sick. That was about the only thing I enjoyed about chemistry, because that class was just dumb all the way through and through. But once again, it was just syllabus. I think we had to do that test where we had to figure out where we were science-wise. I don't even really remember what happened in that class. I was just not wanting to be there. That's all it was. So, and then my third class was my enrichment block, which is study hall. That's what my school called it. The dogs are freaking out because Devin's home. I just got a Life 360 about that. So if you guys can hear that, I sincerely apologize. But it's all right. So, Harley! That's enough! See, that's how you handle that situation right there. But anyway, I go to my third class, which is study hall, enrichment block, whatever you want to call it. It's what my school called it. And we were chilling, just sitting there. It was the first day, so there was obviously nothing to do. Social distance once again. About halfway through that class, I had lunch. Went to lunch. Once again, had to do social distance seating. Only 4 could be at a table instead of the normal 8. And then went back to my EB, chilled, watched some YouTube videos. And then my friend Blake texted me because our next class was about to be radio TV. And my friend Blake texted me and said, yo, I can't wait to go on the air today. He texted me and Devin, both of our group chats, Devin Franklin. He texted us in our group chat, and he's like, man, I can't wait to go on the air today. And we're like, oh, Blake, we don't go on the air on the first day. We do practice shows. And he's like, you guys just killed my vibe. And I'm just like, damn, bro, we weren't trying to do that. Blake, if you're watching this, by the way, I don't care. I'm not mad at you, by the way. It's just a funny little detail to add. If that dog doesn't shut up, bro. These people live here, bro. You see them every single day. She doesn't even care anymore. It's always when I'm trying to record, too, is when they get all loud. Every single time. I love the dogs, though. I yell at them because I love them. But, I don't remember where the hell I was. So, yeah, we finished up EB. Killed Blake's vibe, and now we're going to our 4th class, which is my radio TV class, which I have with my friend Devin and Blake, and those were pretty sick. We had a couple other friends in there too that I'm not going to name because I don't know how they feel about their names being on the YouTube videos. But yeah, I went to that class, did our practice shows. They went pretty good, and after that, it was the end of the day. I went home, and that day, when I got home, I got in bed as soon as I got home, and I went right to sleep. I took me a good old nap, and I woke up, felt pretty good after that. And later that night, I found out that our junior high school had a positive COVID case in it. Took 1 day for that shit to happen. And I was just like, wow, that's just spectacular. So, whatever. We don't make it a big deal. Well, I hope we did. But I don't, as far as I know, it wasn't made a huge deal. At least not at the high school, because it didn't happen at the high school. But, obviously everyone talked about it. It was at the junior high. So we went to school on the second day. It was more of the same, social distance shit. First class on the first day was my English class, which actually ended up being a pretty sick class. The teacher was super cool and all that. Once again, it was school syllabus shit, and then legit, that was it. We couldn't do any of the icebreaker activities because, once again, it was COVID. Second class was my choir class. Well, that was a whole fucking ordeal. So instead of being in the choir room, we went in the auditorium for our class so we could all be spaced out, and we couldn't really sing because it spreads too much germs when you sing. We couldn't sing together. We had to sing in like our individual parts. And we really didn't get to learn any new songs. We had to learn stuff for our Christmas magical dinners thing because we were still going to do that. It was just going to be virtual, so we just worked on that virtually the whole time. And that was kind of wild, but you know what? It is what it is. And then I went to lunch after that because I had first lunch on that day. And after lunch, I went to my U.S. history class. And once again, social distance shit. I went through the syllabus, talked about all the history we were going to learn. And the teacher's like, normally I'd take your phones, but since, there's COVID happening, I'm not going to do that. And I said, all right, well, that's pretty sick. That class was interesting as hell, just to say the least. Especially when we had to go virtual for a little bit, which I'll get into that here in a minute. And then my fourth class was Algebra 2. That was my least favorite class of all time because I hated Algebra 2 with every fiber of my being. It was my least favorite class. Because especially since that first semester, I had a teacher, like, he seemed like he was a cool dude, but he was just boring as hell. Like, I wanted to sleep in his class all the time, and it didn't help that it was the last class of the day. So I was just sitting there just like, oh my God, bro. Yeah, that was a whole situation. Our phones did get taken in that class, and I was kind of upset about that. I was like, dude, there is a fucking pandemic happening right now. Why are you taking our phones away from us to where they can get these nasty ass germs on them? But you know what? It is what it is now. So obviously at the end of the day, got our phones back, went home, had just a normal day, and after that it was fine. Until it wasn't fine. Because I'd probably say about a month and a half later, maybe 2 months, COVID was starting to spread really badly in the school because a bunch of people were there, even though we were taking all the precautions. So we had to switch to a hybrid schedule, which was very strange. So basically what happened is they separated the alphabet, like they went by last names. And they split them in half alphabetically. So like one half of the alphabet would be at the school one day, and the other half of the alphabet would be at the school on the other day. I was in the second half because the last name's Powers. The P fell into the second half. And it was very strange how it worked. So on Monday and Tuesday, those would both be blue days. Monday would be the first half, Tuesday would be the second half, then Wednesday everybody was virtual, and you'd do all your classes, all 8 of your classes, just condensed. And then on Thursday, the first half of the alphabet would be there for the gold day, and then the second half would be there on Friday. Yes, it sounds weird, but swear to God, it happened. It was wild. It was definitely a wild year altogether. But honestly, like, even though it was stressful and, like, stupid at times, like, extracurricular-wise, probably my favorite year of high school I had. Because doing theater that year was actually really sick because I got to do a lot of acting that year. And that was a lot of fun. So I do enjoy the fact that I got to do theater during COVID. Because even though we had those challenges, it was still one of the most fun experiences of my entire life. So yeah, that was my first day of junior year of high school when we had to make all those changes because of the COVID-19 pandemic. And like, it legit sounds like I made some of that up, but all of that was true and accurate. All of that shit happened. So yeah, it was very wild. My stepbrother, though, he went to another school. He didn't go to the same school I went to. And he did a virtual the whole year, pretty much. So on his first day of school at virtual, he was sitting at his dad's house, and his stepsister was, like, sitting there at the table with him, and, like, she kept smacking a spoon on the bowl. and his mic on his computer was on while he was in one of the Zoom meetings, and he didn't realize it, and he looked right at her and said, "Jesus fucking Christ, stop smacking the spoon on the fucking bowl," with his mic on. And then one of the teachers went, "Hey, could you mute your mic, please?" And he's like, "Oh, my bad." So yeah, that wouldn't happen to me, but that just shows the joys of what school during the pandemic was like. So to all the young kids that say they wish they were in high school during the pandemic, no the fuck you don't. Because that shit was a shit show. Straight up. Like a complete shit show. Not just like a ha-ha shit show. Like a what the fuck are we doing type of shit show. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. But looking back on it, it's funny now. Because, it's been 5 years. So, yeah. That was what my first day of COVID school year was like. So, yeah, that's honestly all I got for today. A 15 going on 16-minute video, completely uncut. That's why I enjoy these story times, because I can just talk and not have to cut. Unless I cut out the part where I yelled at the dogs. I don't know if I'll do that, though, because I think it might be kind of funny. But yeah, I didn't want to vlog today because I know I'm going to have probably a pretty lengthy vlog tomorrow because I'm going to see that concert, and it's also just in Memorial Day weekend, so it's going to be interesting. So, with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching this vlog. If you guys enjoyed it, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, turn on the notifications so you don't miss a vlog, and follow things in the description box. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.